Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Final Show Films. I'm Sen, your executive producer. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I particularly want to thank our $25 tier supporters over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms. Those being Jeremy and Alexander, Samantha Bates, and L, without whom we won't be able to do nearly as much as we do now. I know for a fact that they're the reason why we continue to be able to stream because of my internet. That's what that goes to right now. Anyways, but those of you that are watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Exandria Rising. I'm Sen, the game master here for the evening, and I'm joined this week by Shawnee.
Hi, I'm Shawnee or William, and I am playing Najka, the Orc Craftsman.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Elafira, who is a water genasi rogue.
And Holly.
I'm playing Holly. No, I am Holly. I'm sorry.
Hello, I am the alien bugs that are taking over Holly's body, and I'm playing Holly today, who's herself playing.
I'm Davina. I can't think. She's a sulky folk mystic and currently murdering certain members of our party.
Not being able to think is very bad position for a mystic to be in, considering that's what
I-
their powers come from.
No, it's fine. Davina can think. I can't think. It'll be an interesting night.
Murder is usually, not always, but usually intentional. You're more manslaughtering them.
Yeah, well,
Involuntary, like she didn't realize that. It's fine.
less manslaughter, more mouse slaughter. But it also
That's fair.
The target of such pedantry, Jervian.
Dravian, I'm playing Tenebris, Gerbine Witch.
We are unfortunately this week short Jack, who plays the Good Goblins, and their Aormaton suit, Martin Victoria, and Craig, who plays Grouper. But we will continue on. We will persevere, and we will pick back up with where we left off last week, which was the sound of screaming, as the group of as yet unnamed adventurers had found within the exhibition halls of the formerly flying city of Tuatakala what seemed to be an in progress prototype of an airship that was currently only viable as a ship, known as the Bratikedi Ragnarok, as I stumble over the pronunciation of my own ship. Upon having informed the architect whom they met that they would gladly take the ship around to the various other city ruins, providing that they're able to find them and get it fixed up and patched up and airworthy, they were allowed to take it because the architect was not designed to stop them from taking it. Upon attuning to the Spelljammer helm inside, Davina hit the launch button functionally, which resulted in the ship being teleported out to where it would have been able to launch from had it been a completed airship. Because it was not, it fell out of the sky. We'll pick up there. Tenebris, before the thought occurs to Davina to launch the ship, what were you doing, having just clambered aboard with the rest to inspect it and figure out how everything works, while Najka is working on carving a booster seat functionally for Grouper?
Going around looking over looking over the railings and just kind of inspecting the ship.
Go give me a ship's rights tool. Shipwrights tools. Is that a tool skill that you have?
It is not. They use carpenter's tools.
Give me carpenter's tools with intelligence.
Also, slight correction.
Mm-hmm.
As yet unnamed group of adventurers.
What did I say?
Group of as yet unnamed adventurers sounds like we individually do not have names.
Look, I'm not the one that makes deals with Faye. with 22 carpenter's tools check. So it's a little bit hard to translate carpentry to this because while the deck itself is made of wood, largely this vessel is made of an unknown metal. The same kind of metal that the bits of the constructs that weren't scavenged and the rest of the sort of like interior space of the island flying city was made of. So you can tell it's been expertly crafted, mostly just from your experience putting things together, but you're not quite certain of the ins and outs of the how. You can tell that this deck was probably put together by either an expert carpenter or some facsimile of one, and it's joined seamlessly to. So there's like this large. There's this large. I don't want to say mahogany because it's a meme, but mahogany deck that is joined at various places by metal, to the metal workings of the rest of the ship, in a way that you're unfamiliar with. But
there's a reason it's a meme. It's a good wood.
It's good wood. It's good wood, Bron. And you can also tell, also with the 22, you can tell that the central mast is meant to be removed. The central mast seems to be collapsible somehow. You're not quite certain how, but it seems like there's probably internal workings that will collapse it, depending on what you all finish discovering in the rest of the ship while you're looking it over. It's about that time where you notice a large blue rune of light, a sort of light rune, appearing at the front of the ship and rapidly moving towards you. You see that as the rune moves, the ship disappears as it touches it. What would you like to do for your reaction?
Grab onto the mast.
All right, give me
I'm standing beside.
Give me an athletics check with advantage. We'll say you can like throw a bit of rope around it. 11. That's enough. So yeah, you basically tie yourself very quickly to the mast as that teleportation circle just flashes past the ship, and you find yourself in midair for just long enough to start screaming as the ship plummets nose first. As we ended on last week, all of you in the cabin screaming from various different very different kinds of screaming going on in the cabin, as the ship noses down into the water, into the little inlet bay on this side of Tuatakala, which I'll put you back on so you have so that you can recall where exactly it was that you splashed down.
I will note that Davina managed to attitude adjust it by shouting in her mind, "Pull up, pull up, pull up."
Yes, Davina did manage to adjust it slightly, so it wasn't fully nose down when it splashed down. Tenebris, there's a lovely view of a wave that wasn't there before as the ship sinks into the water, and then it goes away as the ship rockets back up. Give me another athletics check with advantage to hold onto the mast.
She attitude adjusted it, so she gave it the FU.
Yeah. A 7 is not enough, unfortunately. Tenebris, how close to the goofy howl is the sound that you make as you are slingshotted off the deck of the ship?
It would be much higher pitch and a lot shorter, because Tenebris does not have the lung capacity or the vocals
Fair.
cords of Goofy.
It's mostly about the speed of the launch more than anything else. But so yeah, those of you that are in the cabin see Tenebris, who was holding onto the mast the whole fall, just boing in an arc off to one side off the ship. As the ship rocks back up from the water, reasserting its dominance over the floating vessel.
Oh shit!
You're inside the cabin.
I'm
running out.
running out.
Yep.
Running out to dive into the water and grab Tenebris.
Give me a perception.
Uh-huh.
Give me a perception check. See if you can track where Tenebris went.
Why do you hate me like that, Sen? Why do you make me roll perception checks?
Because you have to use your eyes to see things.
I'm just jumping in then.
All right, yeah.
Oh no, it's water. What will it? I'm a water genasi.
How will the water genasi ever find the person whose lungs are full of water before they drown?
You run in as approximate a direction as you think Tenebris went, and dive into the water. The rest of you, what are you doing?
Perfect.
By the rest of you, I mean Shani and Davina.
Oh,
Shani and Holly.
I'm still steering a boat.
You can
or ship.
you're steering with your mind. You can get up. You can
Oh,
you can take the helm off. It's not clamped to you.
Oh,
To be
okay. I
fair,
wasn't sure.
does Davina know that she can get up?
Yes, you know from the attunement.
Okay, then she's going up to where the
Out to the deck.
mouse flew off the.
As
yeah.
soon as you take the helm off, you feel that connection sever. You're no longer attuned to the spelljamming helm. As soon as you take the helm off, your attunement ends. Spelljamming helm can be attuned to basically as an action. It doesn't take a full hour. It does require attunement slot be free. It does require an expenditure of resources. In your case, psionic points. In other cases, it'd be spell slots. But it disattunes immediately as soon as you take it off.
Very curious how a war mage would interact with that, considering they don't have spell slots. They just have a bunch of cantrip bullshit.
When I take it off, am I still piloting the ship?
No, as soon as you take it off, all of your
Okay.
senses revert
Okay,
back
awesome.
to yourself. You no longer have that extended sense of self. You go ahead and give me a perception
Okay.
check as you head out to the deck. Let me get some.
17.
Oh man, there.
Every time I start hearing the music, by the way, I start thinking, I didn't open up Sirenscape. Oh, wait.
Roll 20.
Yep.
Davina put it into your head.
With
No
a
worries.
17,
Yeah,
with
no,
a
that's
17,
fair.
Yeah, with a 17, you definitely see the direction Tenebris flew off in. You also see the direction Elefira went off in. Elefira is at an angle to where Tenebris went. You can see the difference though if you want to connect to Elefira and help guide her.
Okay, yeah, she will do that.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Oh no, just appearing like in her head, her voice in her head.
All right. With Elefira helping, go ahead and give me a. You have a swim speed, don't you?
I believe my swim speed is just my walk speed,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
my swimming speed is interesting. That is actually a good. Where does my 40? I think I have mobile. Is that accurate?
You have mobile.
Speedy. I have speedy.
Yeah, speedy. Right. Yeah. The updated name of the feat.
So here's the water genasi have a swim speed of 30 feet.
Okay.
I have a walking speed of 30 feet. Speedy just says your speed increases by 10 feet. So is it increase both?
I would say yeah.
I would assume so.
It would
but-
increase both, but also the speed category for the water genasi says your walking speed is 30 feet, and you have a swimming speed equal to your walking speed.
Okay,
So
fair
it's
enough.
always equal to your walking speed, even when it increases.
Fair enough.
Drevian, does Tenebris have a swim speed?
Yeah.
It does. Okay. What's Tenebris' swim
Part of the
speed?
drowned curse, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's part of the drown curse. It's 30.
Same as you're walking. Okay. So yeah. So you don't have to make any rolls to stay afloat. You do have to actively move to stay afloat though, because again, there's water in your lungs, so you're just sinking if you're not moving. But you don't have to make any rolls to move to swim.
I am going to do I see
with the guidance
Tenebris at this point?
with the guidance
Yeah.
of Davina, you are directed towards Tenebris, and you can very easily find your way there without having to make any rolls.
Okay, I'm going to, if Tenebris does not look like they're swimming, that it looks like they're sinking, I'm going to shape water to try and pull him. I know technically this isn't something that is part of it,
Well,
but
I mean, honestly, because you can,
I can change the flow of water up to 5 feet in any direction.
and because you can move water, what you could basically do is
Right.
bucket. You could bucket yourself closer
Yes.
to Tenebris, or bucket Tenebris closer to you. Because when
I'm
you
pulling
remove water,
I'm pulling him closer to me.
Yeah, when you remove water, water rushes into fill.
Yep.
So yeah, Tenebris, are you actively trying to swim back towards the ship?
The Tenebris hits the water. It's done for like 5 seconds, and then starts swimming.
Okay, so yeah. So between the two of you, yeah, easily you can get Tenebris back to the ship, get him back up. No harm, no foul. No damage either, because you only got bounced off, so the impact got absorbed by the ship. Everyone is back on the ship. It is very wet.
Okay,
Tenebris.
in your head,
Dramatic.
Tenebris, you hear panic, Davina. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know where you were. Are you okay? Live, breathe.
Tenebris holds up a finger, coughs off a bunch of water, and then puts the finger down.
Still more water in there.
Davina still like hysterical, is shaking him. Are you okay?
Fyron, who is currently emulating a turtle falling over on its shell at the back of the cabin because he definitely failed his dex check to stay on his feet. Is everyone okay? Does anyone need healing? As he's trying to get on his feet.
Najka walks over and just extends a hand and pulls him back to his feet.
Thank you very much, my love. That fucking sucked.
Start that check with yourself. Did you get banged up with that fall?
Oh no, I'm fine. I was just only my dignity got hurt. And to be fair, I don't have a lot of that anyways. Checking each other over, checking everyone over. Nobody seems to be particularly hurt. The ship seems to have absorbed most of the fall damage and seems fine. Anyone who wants to can make either an Arcana or a tool check that might seem relevant to this construction of the ship.
Craftsman.
Dragon chess.
No, Craftsman's tools would work.
Okay.
It would still be Craftsman's intelligence, though.
Yeah. I just don't have Arcana, but I do have every tool proficiency.
Oh, that was a 20.
23.
With a natural 20 from
15.
With a natural 20 from Davina and a 23 from Najka. Something about the boat. Najka, something about the way this boat is constructed absorbed all the... You should have taken some fall damage. Even if it was just hitting the wall or hitting the floor, you should have still taken something. Something about this boat absorbed the damage of the fall. With a natural 20, Davina, thinking back, you recall, because you were connected to the ship at the time, something activated as the ship was falling, referred to as featherfall protocols. You know that activated. You don't know what that is. You can assume based off the name, but when it fell out of the air, the ship activated something called featherfall protocols, which is probably why you didn't take any damage.
Good. They have a "we're going down" a contingency.
Well, that was fun.
The ship apparently has a featherfall protocol.
Well, that's good to know.
Also, I'm really sorry. I was just wondering if I could attune to the ship, and I'm sorry.
You can.
Turns out, yeah, you can.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cause all this.
Oh, it's fine. It's all good.
Gesby, who's still outside the ship, outside of the Martin Victoria. We left the door open.
Huh.
We should
look up.
Yeah, it's just sheer cliff face.
That's a problem.
We should get back and try to not leave the door open.
We know how to close the door.
I mean,
Can
looks over at Martin Victoria. There's a pause, and then Martin Victoria goes, affirmative.
All right, well, that's gonna be a trip south. We're gonna have to hit the southern end of the forested half of this place to try and get somewhere where we could actually. Well,
How? No, wait. How high? How much cliff face are we talking here?
Okay, so the depends on which side of the island you're on. The side you're on right now, the cliff face is about. Hang on one second. On this side, the cliffs of the cliff face is about 400 feet tall. On the other side, it's going to be lower because of the way the island tilts.
That's not unclimbable.
It's not. It's not an easy climb.
No, but I mean, I can do it.
I think I might be able to.
You do know that you are
use that easier.
getting to the top of the cliff on this side. Still puts you quite a ways away from Arctic Glacier. You'd be closer on the other side.
Let's sail around the other side of the island so that when we finish climbing, we'll be at Ardeglace and can just be there.
Yeah, fair
Go
enough.
off to the forest.
Yeah. Based on how familiar you are with how the island is tilted, the other side, Arctic Glacier is not the highest point on the island. That's Kratom on the other side. Arctic Glacier is probably about 200 feet up on that side. Somewhere between
that's
2
much
and 300.
easier.
Somewhere between 200 and 300 feet, yeah. Okay.
All right, that away.
Well, someone's gonna have to go take the seat. I can't drive the thing.
I got it.
Don't
Warning.
don't make
Going to start.
don't make jokes. Don't make jokes. Um,
Are you saying that out loud or in your head?
no.
Oh, okay.
I think she's thinking it on like not meaning
But
to be
not over the
broadcasting.
mental. Yeah.
Yes, like that would be her instinct is to make a joke about the situation.
Because Ella was the one that encouraged Davina to do this. So
Yeah.
How many
Yep.
how many side points do you have left?
hold on. I wrote them down last week. Let me just find where.
I think the total is 17 and it used 10.
It did use 10, so I have
So-
7.
You go to sit down and you put the helm back on, you put the crown on, and you try to reattune, and you are a lot more exhausted than you thought you were, and it doesn't seem like you have the power to connect to it right now.
Mhm.
You feel like this sort of swimming mental fatigue thing happen as you try to connect to it, and there's just it. I'm trying to think of a way to describe this in a way that someone that doesn't have ADHD would understand. It's like your brain got put into a dice cup and the dice cup got shook.
Mhm.
Kind of like that.
Bad news, guys. I can't. I'm too mentally exhausted. I can't attune to it right now.
Well, let me finish the booster seat, and I can we can get either Tenebris or Grouper to handle it. if need be.
I mean, we could try,
or
says Gatsby.
Yeah, or Gatsby.
Gatsby will climb
I'll
back.
still need to finish the seat either
No.
way.
Not necessarily. Gatsby climbs back into Martin Victoria.
Yeah.
Martin Victoria.
This is
goes-
the only other option is like one of us taller people act as the booster chair just long enough to get us over to where we need to go. But that
Put
also
Grouper in
works.
Ella's lap.
No. First of all, no. Second of all, Grouper can't. No, Grouper can. No. Just no.
Is that a serious suggestion made?
I need to say this one more time. No.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What was that? What was the response to that, Jeremy?
Huh?
What was the response to the suggestion of grouper sitting on Elefira's lap?
Oh, that would be maybe down the line, but not now.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to double
No.
So there is a chance for you guys.
check. Well, you're saying there's a chance.
You're right. No, it'd be grouper wild shaped into a frog sitting on Davina's head.
There you go.
I will throw you back into that fucking water.
Martin Victoria sits. So Martin Victoria sits at the in the chair and attaches the helm. The good goblins will spend. Let's see what they have. They will spend a first level spell slot to connect to it. It is significantly easier for a spellcaster to connect to this than a mystic. Mystics can. It's just more resource intensive than it is for a spellcaster. And they sort of like sit there collectively and think about it for a minute. And then you hear water churning from the back end of the ship. And it begins to move.
All right. Can I tell how fast this ship moves in the water?
Yes, and you can in fact look at the Bratikari Ragnarok. Now let me make a separate folder so it's no longer in the NPCs section.
All right, so 40-foot water speed. So it's going to take us a while to get around the island.
There, no, it's there. Yeah, so 40 foot speed in water, but dashing that's 80 foot around. That's hang on. I need to do the same. I need to do the miles per hour calculations that I have to do all the time.
Yeah, hang on.
80 feet.
About
every
9 miles an hour.
80 every 6 seconds, so times 10, 800 feet a minute. All right.
It's about 9.1 miles per hour.
Yeah, so round up 10 miles an hour, basically.
I mean, you'd round down because only 9.1.
Yeah, but I'm rounding up for D&D efficiency time's sake.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, it moves at about 10 miles an hour, which honestly is pretty fast for as far as vehicles are concerned. It'll probably take you, based on how long it takes y'all to move across the island on foot, it'll only take you a couple hours to get to the other side of to get to where you'd want to climb up. Not long enough for a long rest, but long enough for a short rest. Anyone that wants to take a short rest can do so if they so desire while the ship moves, or you can explore.
Yeah, not just gonna like walk up and down the decks and figure out what's here.
So there are 4 decks. There's the main deck, which is the part that you see the thing that you see on the image that I shared, the map that I shared. Then there is immediately below that there is what seems to be immediately below that there's like not residential, but
Cabin deck.
the cabin deck. Yeah, the cabin deck. There is like a captain's cabin attached to the control room on the main deck. But so counting that, there are about 10 cabins total. So nine on the first deck, 9 on the deck right below, and then the one on top with the control panel or the control chair.
8 on either side and 1 in the back, I'm assuming, on the cabin deck.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 4 on either side, rather.
They are unfurnished. All of them are completely unfurnished. They're just empty rooms right now. You can see there is a demarcation along the There's a demarcation along the length of the ship on that next down deck that indicates where the railgun, the top of the railgun cannon is. In the back room that looks like a cabin, there's actually a loading and firing mechanism for it. So it might be that room's not meant to be a cabin; it's more meant to be munitions or something. But like, it's hard to tell. You can also see that there's a trapdoor that goes from that room up to the captain's cabin. Then the next room down is engineering. And there's a lot of complicated stuff in here that you're going to have to take time to get to grips with. None of this seems familiar to you. This is all highly advanced pre-calamity technology. In relatively well conditioned, considering how long it's been there.
It'll all answer to the knock test.
Based on the sounds that you're hearing, you get the sense that there are 2 engines, probably, that seem to be powering the fan, like the chain of fans that you saw at the back end of the ship. There are a bunch of systems that are reminiscent of the control panels and things that you saw in other facilities, in the testing facility for the armatures. The ones that reacted to the good Govern's Gauntlet. They are active. Seem to be active with the ship being powered by the Spelljammer, or by the Spelljammer helm. They are all in Aquan, or all in Primordial, as far as communications. But they seem to be readouts of some kind. You don't read Primordial yet, do you?
No, not at the moment.
Notably, Tenebris would be exploring with Nashka and does read Primordial.
So yeah, if you're looking at these, they seem to be consoles for systems that are not installed. Several of them are just reading very sort of generic, like, generic Aquan for functionally. There's something connected to this. This console currently does nothing. That kind of thing. A couple of them seem to indicate control over the specific application of power to the engines, and one of them has a list of emergency measures that's sort of like that it seems to control. And looking through the list, you can see that one of the active measures currently is the Featherfall, what did I call it earlier? Featherfall
Protocol.
The Featherfall protocol. Which seems to be something whenever the ship is in free fall and not under its own power, it will functionally activate a ship-wide featherfall, which doesn't necessarily slow the ship down, but does ensure that anybody on the ship isn't going to get hurt from the crash, at least the impact. It doesn't seem to be a powerful enough. It seems like in order for it to be the sort of universal generic effect that it has, it's not powerful enough to protect the ship from taking damage. So it's probably worth checking to make sure that the ship wasn't damaged in the fall. And you don't want to rely on it if the ship is falling onto something harder than water.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space, you both can tell as you're looking around in this third deck, for things to be added. Very much the ship is not done. And then the bottom deck is cargo. Large empty space. Based on what you're seeing, you could estimate that the ship has a 70-ton cargo allotment. Which isn't the biggest for cargo ships, but is fairly large still. And currently it is not stocked with anything. You did notice on the second deck that there were feeding tubes that seemed to correlate with where the cannons are. It seems that you should be able to, rather than loading ammunition into the cannons directly, you load ammunition into the feeding tubes on the engineering deck, and they will auto-load into the cannons. You can't tell at the moment. Actually, no. Well, being able to read Aquan, you can tell all the cannons are currently empty. There's no ammunition on them.
I was about to say, can I tell what kind of ammunition they use?
It seems like they will take basically anything. You're not certain how it works, but it's so long as it is large enough to be ship munitions, whether it be ballista bolts or cannonballs, it seems like they'll take it.
Fair enough.
Reading an Aquan Tenebris, you can see that there's a description that refers to a loosely translated universal adapter on all of the guns, which, from what you can tell, seems to break down matter and reconstitute it into appropriate ammunition, given that there is enough matter to break down. Which seems to be why it requires ship munitions and not just a bunch of arrows. Theoretically, if you bundled a bunch of arrows together enough to like a material cost worth amount of arrows that would equate to a ballista bolt, it would work. You had bundle them all together and shove them in at the same time. That would be bulky.
I mean, let me just bind 10 quivers together and just toss them into
Yeah,
the bin.
exact kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, you currently have a highly advanced ship that has no ammunition.
I'm gonna have to learn to fucking read this language at some point, says Naushka, while I, the player, am aware that there is not a way to learn extra languages at the moment.
There's a feat for that.
Not anymore. They got rid of all of the directly combat useful feats.
In the player's handbook, but the extended roles had feats for that.
I'm not sure what feat there was for that had languages anyways.
I think in the original player's handbook, there was
linguist. Yeah,
Linguist. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
which I would let you take that. It's legacy, but I'd still let you take it. Alternatively, you could just narratively learn the language by being taught it.
Right.
Yeah.
Downtime activities.
Yeah, downtime activities is how you can learn the language.
Downtime activity. Learn primordial.
Also, or at least Aquan, you imagine that you could probably reprogram it if you knew how. If you knew enough. If someone knew enough how to. If someone learned enough about the systems, you could probably change the language that it displays in.
I mean, at this point, not because we're going to be dealing with a bunch of primordial machines at some point anyway, and I am the engineer. I should learn this language anyway.
There.
And I'm pretty sure half, if not over half of us do speak primordial.
Yeah, but I really shouldn't be getting a translator every time I'm trying to work on the sensitive
No,
machine.
that in addition to you learning it,
Yeah.
Up until the point that you do learn it, there are people who can be like, that's what that says.
Yeah.
And you also you do not want for teachers.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's the rundown on the ship. I hope you wrote it down, because I will not remember it fully the next time you ask me.
Can we get a notes document?
Is there not one already?
Not in my journal, at least.
Not that I see.
Well, add handout. Edit. Party notes. All players. All players. There.
Hey, look, there's the party notes.
Yeah.
Were there any items that y'all hadn't identified yet? I think there were.
Yes, and I don't remember what they were.
If I recall correctly, at least one of them was I think one of them was a cloak that had daggers embroidered in it.
Yes, that one is definitely one of them.
I don't know if there was anything else that you found immediately.
I don't.
Is there a lantern, or am I remembering a different campaign?
Different campaign, I think. Yeah, I think it's just the one thing that you found so far. But yes, if you'd like, you can. Oh wait, no, there was also a book. There was a book
That
and a
was it.
cloak. Yeah.
That was it.
So if you'd like to spend this short rest, you could identify those things.
Probably worthwhile.
All right. You and Tenebris have been examining the ship, so someone else would probably have to identify those items if someone
Yeah,
does.
I figured.
I mean, I can arcana them.
I can as well.
Alternately, we can just try to attune them and see what happens, but that doesn't tend to go well.
Ella's very
Um,
encouraging of that.
So
Yes.
you can. So during a short rest, anybody can focus on one magic item during a short rest while being in physical contact with it, and at the end of the rest, learn its properties and how to use it, but not any curse the item may bear. Without having
fine.
without
Identify
needing to roll an Arcana check or cast Identify spell. That's new for the 2024 rules for identifying a magic item. So if you'd like, one of you can take one and one of you can take the other.
Sure.
Who's identifying the cloak?
I'll identify the cloak.
Okay.
So what do I have then?
You'd have a book.
Okay.
All right, Jeremy, there should be a item that just showed up in your magic items that is not the armature.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to take a look at that. And Holly, there should be a book that just showed up in your magic items list. Feel free to take a look at that.
Already
Where's
forgotten.
Oh,
all
I
of
see
them.
it.
I've
Handouts.
already forgotten.
I
all
found
the
it.
details you just described in the Ragnarok that I needed to write down.
The second, so there's a captain's cabin on the main deck with the spelljamming helm. There are 9 other rooms that seem like cabins on the second floor, on the second deck. Although the back one, so the one farthest back from the prow, seems to be where you load and fire the railgun from, and has a direct like trap door to the captain's cabin. The third deck is engineering. There are 2 engines that you could identify and a bunch of consoles, all of which are displaying Aquan. It's also where the loading tubes for the 3 other cannons on the ship are. And then the 4th deck is cargo, which is currently empty. All right. Yeah. After your short rest, the 2 of you identify those items, and you are free to share the information as you please, or not.
Huh. Cool. Anybody else want a cloak of daggers?
You know, have to run by me what the fuck that means.
It's a cloak. It has daggers. You summon them. You throw them. They vanish.
I don't think I need that.
For transparency's sake, they are magical and silver daggers too. But
I'm not really a dagger throwing kind of person. I'm more of a gun shooting kind of person.
that's fair. I mean, you don't have to throw them. You can also stab with them too.
That's what I have this for, she says as she holds up the shotgun axe.
Also, it makes you sneakier in dim light or darkness.
That might be relevant to me sometimes, but still probably someone else can get more use out of that.
I mean, if nobody else wants it, I will take it. But want to throw it out there.
While not knowing what sort of decision Craig might make
Right.
on a petty basis, I can tell you that Grouper doesn't need it, and neither do the goblins.
I will take it for now, and then I can Grouper and Ella can argue about it later.
Yes, they do everything.
So those are going to be regular, like other than magic and silver. Those are functionally the same as regular daggers, which means they will have the weapon mastery for daggers if that's a thing that you took.
Right. Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, rapier and dagger are the ones I took.
And yeah, Holly, you identify the notebook if you care to share it or not.
I have a notebook, she says in her head. It has lots of different notes and sketches. And I'm sorry, I'm still reading through everything it does. Okay, I'm just mechanically going to read what it does.
Go ahead.
I don't know how she'll describe it. While holding the book, whenever you make an intelligence investigation or wisdom insight check, you gain +1 bonus to the roll. If you spend at least 10 minutes investigating or interacting with the subject of these checks while writing notes in the book, you make the roll with advantage. In addition, you can use an action to cast comprehend languages, detect thoughts, or locate object spell from the book. Once the book has been used to cast one of these spells, it shouldn't be used to cast a spell again in this way until the next dawn. Each time it's used again before then, the book has a 20% chance of not working and tearing into useless non-magical tatters.
That sounds more like something that I can get use out of.
Okay.
In particular, the ability to cast comprehend languages and the special ability for taking notes about things. I take a lot of notes about things.
Sorry, do you hand the notebook over to Nashka?
Oh yeah.
All right, yeah, you'll have it's now in your magic items handouts, Shani.
Cool. I will attune to that notebook.
Yep, it does require attunement. All right. So the few hours pass, and you find yourselves. I'm just gonna delete the outline here because. And you find yourselves off the coast of the island, as close as you can get, before the what you previously would have thought were jagged rocks and now realize are probably long buried debris, prevent the ship from getting any closer. There's a bit of a distance between you and the cliff face. So you wouldn't be able to park right next to the cliff. And yeah, there's a somewhere between 200 and 300 foot tall cliff between you and Artiglace at this point. The good goblins will disconnect from the ship, which seems to function as an anchor because as soon as it's disconnected, the whole ship basically holds still. No anchor is dropped, but it stops reacting to the waves.
All right. Well, I guess.
This is where we climb.
Yeah. Let me go up and establish an anchor hold, so that we can make it easier for the other folk to climb up after.
So there's about 50 feet of water with jagged stone and rock sticking up out of it between you and the cliff face, or between the ship and the cliff face.
Yeah.
To start with, it had to be swum through or navigated through somehow.
In response to that request, says, "No, that's no fun. You can anchor for the rest, but I'm going to," and jumps in.
All right.
So it'll be an acrobatics check to get to the cliff without harming yourself on any of the debris in the water.
22.
Easily done. You mermaid your way through the debris in the water.
Yep.
Upon being closer to it now than you have ever been, you can tell much more easier that this is basically bits of fallen bits of metal, some crystal, and all of which seems to have been grown over by coral and algae and the like, making it particularly treacherous to get too close to. But you managed to maneuver your way around it to get to the cliff face. All right, you are at the sheer face of a cliff. It's athletics to climb, or unless you have something else. Like if you have a climb speed or something.
No, I don't have a climb speed. I'm checking to see if there's anything. Yeah, no. I'm just athleticsing.
All right, give me athletics.
We'll see how this
Do
goes.
you have like a climbing kit or anything like that?
I don't believe I do.
All right. So just raw.
Not unless I can use my thieves tool somehow.
No, unfortunately not.
13.
That's Arcana.
not bad.
Is your athletics also 2?
Yes, my athletics is also 2, so it's
Okay,
the same.
so yeah, same thing. So yeah, with 13, you are making progress. It's slow, but you are climbing.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're climbing at half your climb speed. So however many rounds it'll take for you to climb 250 feet.
I'm climbing at half my climb speed. Why?
You're climbing at half your move speed because you don't have a climb speed.
I'm going to then dash, and then difficult terrain means jack to me.
Fair.
It's speedy.
All right. Yeah, it's not that it's difficult terrain as far as terrain goes.
It's
it's
using your
climbing.
walking speed as an alternate movement speed is always half speed.
Yeah, right.
If you don't,
And that
have a
doesn't
swim
fall
speed or
under
a climb-
difficult terrain.
No,
I thought that counted under difficult terrain.
not for the purpose of climbing. It's also not that this is
Interesting. Okay.
It's not what's happening here. So difficult terrain would be like rocky ground or particularly shitty ground to walk on. You are able to pick your way across it with no problem. This is you are pulling yourself up bodily up a sheer cliff, and it's wet. It's like narratively you would describe it as difficult terrain, but it's not mechanically difficult terrain. It's just a hard thing to do. And if you had rolled better on your athletics check, you would have been able to move with your full move speed, but between 10 and 15 is half move speed. 15 and 20 is full move speed. And then 10 and below is
yeah, that's fine.
All right. Sen, you said that these cannons can fire anything, right?
Anything that they can translate anything that is of a suitable size to be ammunition into ammunition for the cannons.
Can I tool belt a harpoon for one of these cannons?
It won't be a harpoon when it fires.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out. I would like to harpoon gun a rope to the.
You could tool belt a harpoon and then actually hang on. Let me look real quick at tool belt.
I can make any object that is 50 gold or less.
Let me just make sure there's not a caveat.
As long as it's not magical.
Tool belt.
And I think it has to be not like a shield or weapon.
Yeah, you can't use it. You cannot use it to produce a weapon, suit of armor, shield, or potion. Harpoons are considered a weapon.
Consider it the equivalent of a grappling hook that is meant for a stone surface.
You could just tool belt a grappling hook.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just one's meant for penetrating.
Yeah, absolutely. You could tool belt a grappling hook that's specifically designed for wood or for stone.
Yeah,
that's easily. How much rope do you have?
I can also tool belt rope.
You can. Up to 50 gold worth, and
up to 50 gold worth of rope, and 50 feet is like 1 gold.
How much is your intelligence modifier? Because you use 1 instance for the grappling hook.
Yeah, I use 1 instance for the grappling hook. Let me double check my character sheet real quick. It's high. My intelligence modifier is +3. I have 3 uses.
Okay. So you've already used one, so you got 2 uses left. And we're looking at tools. Not tools, other tools. No, adventuring gear. There it is. Rope.
I like how it no longer lists a length of rope.
Yeah, just an amount of rope.
I believe the previous was 50 feet in
It was.
one gold.
It was.
ordinance.
We'll say, yeah. Basically it's giving both you and the GM the ability to sort of finagle how much rope it is. I'll say it will take, for the full length, I'll say you'd have to use both of your remaining expenditures of tool belt to get enough rope to get to help anybody get from the top down.
Yeah, you know what I was aiming for, both
yeah,
for the
yeah,
grappling hook and for climbing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, with
That's
all
good
with all
because
three.
I can't. I'm not gonna climb with a shit.
No, I'm
With-
not gonna climb either.
So yeah, with all three use of your tool belt, you can get the tools you need to make that climbing rope. Are you trying to throw it across the water to get to it, or what are you gonna do?
No, I was just going to climb the. I was just gonna climb across the grappling hook and then start climbing. That's why I wanted to shoot the grappling hook, was so
Yeah.
that we could have a thing to cross to the wall without having to go through the difficult terrain.
So
down
yeah, so the guns aren't going to be able to fire the grappling hook. You could throw it. And what's your strength?
there. My strength is 17 as well.
Okay,
So
hang on.
+3. Strength and enter both 17.
One second. Because I think I have a calculator for this.
My axe is a shotgun. Could I just load it behind a black powder charge?
Make me a craftsman's check. With intelligence still.
8. No, apparently not.
Right? No, not in a way that wouldn't destroy the grappling hook.
Yeah. Not with an 8.
Okay, so give me an athletics check to see if you can sink the grappling hook into a useful spot. 20. Yeah, so you're not going to get it real high, but you can definitely hit it. You can definitely get it across the gap to the wall.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be high. That's what the rest of the rope is
So this will let you use athletics to get through. This will let you use athletics to get across the instead of acrobatics to get across the danger zone. So you go ahead and make an athletics roll.
11.
All right, with an 11, that's higher than 10. So yeah, you are able to get across the sharp bits of coral and debris without harming yourself. And then go ahead and give me an athletics check to climb.
20.
20. You are able to move your full speed as you climb. What's your movement speed?
30.
30? Okay. So with Elefira dashing and you climbing, are you going to dash while climbing, or are you just going to carefully pick your way up?
I'm just gonna climb.
Okay. So yeah, the two of you.
I'm not looking to risk anything. I'm trying to make a safe path.
The two of you will be able to get to the top
Boring.
at relatively the same time. Elefira gets there basically a round ahead of you, functionally. And you, both of you, give me a Constitution saving throw.
10.
4.
Do you have any inspiration?
Is this where I slip and fall all the way
No.
down?
No. Is there any sort of inspiration you'd like to use on that?
I do not have any inspiration currently.
So Shawnee, you're fine. Elefira, you have one level of exhaustion from the climb.
That's fine.
All right.
Nashka
That's sort of the point.
Nashka will then secure the rope,
Yeah,
so that
so-
other people can climb up.
So you can see her the rope. The others that are on the ship, you still have to get across to the cliff face, but there is now a rope that will give you advantage on your athletics check to climb. So if you are just swimming across, unless you've got something else, it'll be acrobatics check to get through the debris to the cliff face. Fyron is going to stay on the ship, as is Worm.
So acrobatics.
Acrobatics to get to the cliff face. All right. With a 9, Davina, is there anything you'd like to do to adjust to modify that?
Hold on. Oh, can I spend an inspiration and reroll that?
You absolutely can.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Tenebris, you're fine. You're able to get around. You're able to get around the debris relatively easily. Davina, you do cut yourself on the coral a couple times.
The sulky focus round.
No, you don't drown. You just take 4 points of slashing damage as you cut yourself a couple of times on the coral while
Right.
getting across. And then both of you can give me athletics checks with advantage to climb the cliff face.
Oh, good.
All right, yep. With a 16, Tenebris scrambles up really quickly. Davina takes a little bit more time, but you're also able to get up easily, no problem. The good goblins are going to also pick their way across. We'll say Grouper's going to stay behind for now. Just so that there's a spellcaster that can pilot the ship if it's needed. All right, they get across the debris easily enough. And they're able to scramble up the rope easily enough. All right, now I need Davina and Tenebris and the good goblins to make Constitution saving throws. All right, all three of you pass. None of you are. The only person that ended up exhausted was Elefira.
Person who
You know
decided to go up without any preparation. Yeah.
And dashing up it.
Yeah, and dashing up it the entire way.
Makes sense. All right, but
Look, sometimes you just got to feel like you're alive.
you are up at the top of the cliff, looking back down. Yeah, it's a real long way down. But you can actually see the. You would have been able to see the monument that represented Artiglace from where you're at. You can't quite see the open portal, but you are close enough that it will only take you probably about 30 minutes to get to it at this point.
All right,
Let's go.
Shut this place down.
Yep.
You get back to it. Nothing halts you on the way. Fortunately, I've already made those rolls. The good goblins head up to it and interface, sort of like reach down and interface with the base of the teleportation sigil. And as they do, there's that same sound of like sort of stone and metal grinding as the split in half monument just rears back up and comes back together, slamming hard enough to sort of rumble the ground a little bit. Water begins to once again pour out into the well that got stoppered up by the monument splitting in half, and it's no longer covered in plant life, but it is closed.
All right.
The good goblins are going to take a moment to cast a spell, and I'm going to bookmark this for Jack next time so that we can rewind to this point, and have Jack describe the spell or what happens here. But they are casting the spell Tag, which they did not put a description of in their character sheet yet. Hang on. Is it in this one? No, it's not. Okay.
I'm assuming it leaves a tag that can be magically traced.
No, actually, hang on. I'll just pull it up. Tag is an illusion. It's an illusion cantrip. You press your hand against a flat plane on an object and imprint an elaborate and vibrant image that can fit within a 10-foot square onto the surface. The image can contain a message up to 3 words in length and can include art, characters, or identifying logos in any combination of colors decided when you cast the spell. Non-magical cleaning supplies can't remove the image, which fades after 7 days. And we will bookmark that because I know Jack wanted to have a scene about that whole thing, so we'll come back to that next time. And for narrative's sake, it revolves around describing the thing and suggesting a name for the group. So we will pick that up when they're back.
Cool.
Afterwards, you all can just give me one more athletics check to get back down into the ship, with advantage for the rope, which would make it flat for Elefira because of the exhaustion.
Exhaustion no longer does that.
Oh, it doesn't?
Sorry, what?
Let me look at the new exhaustion rules.
Exhaustion is now just a flat -2 to all d20 rolls for each point of exhaustion, going up to 5.
Hate that.
I like it much better because it's not the 5 steps of doom.
I like the 5 steps of doom. Because A, you never get to the top anyways. And B, it should be restrictive it should be that level of dangerous if you're going that long without rest.
Let me take a look at it.
Oh yeah, so the total effects.
Exhaustion condition.
When you make a d20 test, the roll is reduced by 2 times your exhaustion level. Your speed is reduced by a number of feet equal to 5 times your exhaustion level. And finishing a long rest removes 1 of your exhaustion levels. When your exhaustion level reaches 0, you're fine.
You do die if your exhaustion level is 6, though.
Yes.
It's just that you don't have the instead of disadvantage, instead of disadvantage at one level and then half speed at another level, it's compounding penalties across the board until you die.
Yeah,
so it is still
and
the
no
5
one
steps
ever
of death.
remembers what steps 3 and 4 are. They just remember that 5 is dead.
It is still the 6 steps of death now. But it's just, and there's no cap. It's just compounding. It's just compounding penalties until you die.
Wait, there's no cap or there's a cap of 5? Because I heard 2 things.
There is no. So your condition is cumulative. Each time you receive it, you gain 1 exhaustion level. You die if you reach 6. Up to 5, you have a minus. You have your D20 tests. All D20 tests are reduced by 2 times your exhaustion level. So at 5 it would be a -10, at 4 it would be a -8, etc. And your speed is reduced by a number of feet equal to 5 times your exhaustion level. So your speed gets lower the more exhausted you are, and all of your D20, not just like skills or attacks or whatever, all of your D20 tests get a penalty while you're exhausted. It's arguably worse, honestly.
It is arguably worse. That's just dumbing it down. There are literally dozens of ways you can play that track your exhaustion for you.
Yep.
So it's hard to remember. Yeah. My issues aside, fair enough. So I'm just at a -2.
Yeah, -2. I like cumulative penalties more than the like.
I
set
certainly
things anyways.
never remember what stages 3 and 4 of exhaustion are.
But yes.
That's why there's a little thing where you can click throughout up to 3 and it tells you.
So you have advantage. You still have advantage from the rope, but a -2 to the roll.
Right. I'm legitimately kind of tempted not to use the rope, but no, I will. There's no -2 applied to that because he doesn't have that yet. So it's a 10.
If you want, I can update the character sheet to let us use the 2024 character sheets if you guys want.
Right. I mean, I was gonna mention that as a possibility once we hit break. But
Yeah, they're a little clunky still, but they're usable. 19, 12, 20. Davina, just need an athletics check with advantage.
Sorry,
No
I
worries.
zoned out.
curious if
Natural 20. All right, you all make it back to the. I'm not gonna roll for your comments. You all make it back to the ship safely. And at that point, we are going to go ahead and go on break. So those of you that are watching live, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. And remember, when we take our break, you take yours. So stand up, stretch your legs, move around, do whatever you need to do, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. And we're back. A dinosaur story. So the group of you have landed back or made your way back to the ship. You have successfully sealed off Artiglace, and have made your way back down the cliff, back to the ship. What's next?
All right. What's our timetable before we need to be in Stillben? I ask to the party and also the GM.
Right, it was originally, was it 6 weeks?
It was an amount of weeks, and some amount of time has passed, but this is a tabletop game where time is extrapolated.
Yeah, it was 6 weeks originally, and it's been like 3 days since that point.
Okay, so we still have weeks. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
In that case, we might want to, yeah, we might want to bring this thing into dock, at brain. We might want to bring this thing into dock at Skrios and see about, seeing if we can get some assistance retrofitting it for disguise to make it look more like a normal ship.
Also, we need to get supplies before going anywhere on this.
Aye.
Okay, out of character. Have we gone everywhere that we need to on this island right now?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, I can't remember if there was like one more place we needed to go.
Because our
Well, have
Oh.
we?
we were going to tell the fort about everything
That
that we had
was-
learned on the way back.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, yeah,
We haven't informed the wall of any of our information yet.
yes.
So that might be a trip worth making after we dock.
Or a message worth
To tell who?
Or send a message, yeah. The captain of the guard at the eastern wall that we had intended to
The north
tell
wall.
on the way back out, but we're not going back out that way.
I mean, tell them what? Because I think there was still debate about
to
that.
keep an eye out for the torchbearers looking for Artiglace, that whole situation. Because we
Trying to
wanted to see
remember.
because we wanted to see if the torchbearers had actually gotten there first before we
Right.
talk to the guard captain about it.
I'm still a little concerned. The more people we tell, we don't know who is part of the torchbearers and who isn't. But that's me.
I mean, would you rather leave the guard captain blind to potential danger?
Not my favorite thing in the world, but I mean, they're the guard captain. Isn't that kind of their job? Shouldn't they be good at that anyways?
But the
I mean,
torchbearers are good at convincing
I
people.
was about to say, in this particular instance, the potential danger comes in looking like explorers, the kind of people that normally go into the jungle and then don't come back.
Yeah. That's fair. I don't. There's risk both ways, I guess. Whichever way we want to do it. Like I have concerns, but I understand why there's still value in doing it that way.
I mean, ultimately, we can send a message.
Yep.
can be as tailored as we need it to be.
I think we should though.
Okay. Work on that later.
All right. So,
I'm not. Yeah, it's fine.
So heading to Skrios first.
Yes, let's sail to Skrios and put this thing into dock so that we can work on it for a bit, and potentially get some assistance from folk in town like my father or the dock master in
Okay.
making this ship look like a normal ship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take the rest of the day to get back to Skrios. It'll be dark by the time you get to the docks, but you will get there within the day, basically.
Yeah.
So you have that much time to fuck around on the ship. If there's anything anyone wants to do before you get to Skrios.
I know there's a Davina Grouper conversation inserted somewhere, but when Craig is back.
You don't want to have them a conversation without Craig?
Well, I think the thing is Grouper is mad at Davina. I
Right.
definitely don't want to do that without Craig here.
Just play both sides of the conversation. It's fine. You have to do the voice though.
No, I'm out. I cannot possibly achieve the levels that Craig has achieved with that.
All right. So we'll bookmark a Davina Grouper conversation. So many things getting bookmarked for later down the line. It's dark by the time you get to Skrios. Navigating by the lighthouse because there's not really much else. You don't have any torches or anything on board the ship. You pull into the dock fairly easy with the good goblins piloting. And are greeted on the docks by a slightly perplexed looking Carvala, who is looking at the ship from the dock, going, "Hail, strange ship! Who is your captain?"
At the moment, we don't have one, Carvala, but I think you might recognize her crew.
So you, Najka.
Aye.
What the fuck have you brought into my docks?
Something very special that we're probably going to want some assistance making look not quite so special.
Well, get your asses down here and tell me what's going on.
Once the ship is in dock, Najka will hop onto the dock and
Climb
explain.
down. Reminder, you're in a galleon.
Yeah. Climb down onto the dock and explain how we found this ship, where we found it, because she knows about Artiglace, and why we probably want to disguise it to look more normal.
We're entirely too trusting of people.
This is someone that several of us grew up with.
All of you grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That is accurate.
All right. Well,
It's like this is someone that's also aware of what's in the jungle already.
Yeah.
So if they were part of the torchbearers would be scouring the jungle.
We still don't know that they're not.
Evidence suggests they are not. Paranoia might suggest otherwise, but
all right. So, well, you done found some bit of interesting pre-calamity tech in the shape of a boat. No big deal, she says with the air of someone who thinks it's a very big deal.
according to the architect, it is named the Bratikedi Ragnarok.
Bit of a mouthful.
I'm thinking of shortening it to the Ragnarok.
Why not the Bratikedi?
It doesn't roll off the tongue quite the same.
personal taste, I guess. All right, well, we'll fucking gotta drum up some sail at the very least.
Yeah, I was thinking we need to line up at least a fake sail and maybe give it a paint job that makes it look like wood.
Aye, well, you all look like you could turn in for some kip. I'll see what I can rummage up amongst the docks, and we'll pull it. Can we pull it into dry dock?
You know how to use spells, right?
Aye, yeah.
The helm lets a spellcaster control it, apparently, as if it was attuned to them.
All right, well, do you want to have one of your folks pull it into dry dock, or do you want me to do it for you?
Grouper, you're familiar with the docks. You want to try and get that thing into dry dock?
Yeah, Grouper will help get it into dry dock where it can be less obvious while you're working on it.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to do the voice, and
No.
Fun.
I haven't practiced it, and I don't want to do it wrong. But yeah. He will. Grouper will help get it into the into dry dock and cover it up so it's not visible outside of the basically the boat, literally the boathouse that it's in.
How long of a sail is it to Stilben?
2 weeks.
Okay, so we've got a few weeks to work on this before we need to get going.
Correct. You can always get to Stillben early and establish yourselves if you wanted.
Yeah,
but
We should.
Yeah, we should, but let's spend the time that is needed to make this ship look.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, it'll take honestly, it'll take about a week to get it disguised like a more traditional galleon. It will never fully 100% look like a traditional galleon because just the way it's designed.
Yeah, absolutely, but it'll look like a weird galleon rather than a pre-calamity artifact.
Correct. That can be done. It'll just take about a week of putting adjustments to it, adding up some not fake sales, actual sales. Just because it doesn't need them doesn't mean they're not actual sales. You find while tooling with it, you actually find the whatever this central mast is meant for. It is retractable, which is found accidentally at one point in time, which costs an extra day of pulling sails out of places that it shouldn't have been in.
With that in mind, could I design the sails to collapse with the mast so that they can just sort of fold up around the mast and drop down with it?
Make a craftsman's tools check with intelligence.
Don't fuck me.
Being a shipwright, can I help with that?
Yeah, you could get advantage from Tenebris.
Yeah. 24.
With 24, you absolutely can. You're not certain how to fix the ship side of things to make it work. You can design collapsible sails, but the orifice that the mast collapses into isn't large enough for the sails to go into. So you'll need to spend some more time with the ship to sort of figure out how to make that work.
I will design the collapsible sails and just like get them set up, and then we'll work on trying to make the ship fit the sails later.
Yeah, because if you right now, even with your collapsible aspect to it, if you were to attach it to the mast and collapse the mast, it would break whatever you put on it because there's just not enough room where it goes. But
we'll just get them set up and just not retract the mast for now. And
with the
with
the design in mind, you figure you could probably, if you can get access to a pre-calamity dry dock that will let you work on this, that has enough resources for you to work on it, you could probably fix that. But with your current tools, you definitely don't have the capacity to adjust the ship in that manner.
Well, we will lay the groundwork and work on making that complete next time we get a chance.
But yeah, the mast is prepared. The mast is set up and prepared. An anchor is attached as well, so that you have a physical anchor. Just not not that anyone doesn't necessarily trust the ship will not float off on its own when nobody's attuned to the helm, but it's good to just have that safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's attached in a way that it won't get sucked up into the engines if you forget to retract it before the engines are turned on. And yeah,
somewhere near the bow, then.
Yeah, and yeah, the paint. It's given a paint job that it's actually someone manages to scrounge up some glamour paint that basically will give it the illusion of being wood, rather than just painting it to the color of wood.
Yeah.
It won't hold up to a physical inspection, obviously, but for the moment, it looks like a wooden ship more than a metal ship.
Yeah.
And that takes about a week, and you don't have to. It's not going to cost you anything because family is helping you, and the city you are children of Skrios. Everyone's willing to pitch in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that takes you a week. So during that week, not all of you are working on it constantly, so you do have time for some downtime activities. Is there anything anyone wants to do during their downtime for that week?
Well, I have enough materials to modify 2 items into Masterworks. And also I'd like to try and begin my learning of Primordial at some point.
All right, so you're working on items and trying to learn Primordial. What's everyone else doing? And if you need ideas, I can provide ideas.
Davina will spend some time with her parents before she leaves.
Okay.
This doesn't need to be a scene or anything.
Absolutely,
She just hasn't since she got back. Beyond that, I'm not sure.
So the various examples of downtime activity you can come up with basically anything, but the examples of like mechanical downtime activities that you can try: buying a magic item, carousing, crafting an item, crime, gambling, pit fighting, relaxation, religious service, research, scribing a spell scroll, selling a magic item, training, and working. These are all things that you can do over the course of the week, and there are various mechanics associated with them. Or if you have something else that you want to do, like hang out with your family, or something else that you would like me to on the fly develop mechanics for, we can do that too, just based on what you're trying to accomplish. I assume that Davina spending time with family is just spending time with family, nothing specific trying to accomplish there.
Beyond that, though, she would like, and I don't know how she could begin to do this, but she would like to try to tap into any of her lost memories from that time.
Okay. Go ahead and make that. Okay. Are you trying to just tap in just by yourself with no assistance, or are you trying to use magical reagents or rituals or things like that, research materials in order to enhance your chances of being able to reconnect to those?
The second one.
Okay, so you can spend 50 gold to give yourself a +1 on the roll that I'll have you make. And you can spend an additional 50 gold for an additional +1 up to a maximum of +6 to add basically using magical rituals and assistance to increase your chances.
So I never asked because her situation was different on how she got back to the island and everything. How much gold would I have?
Well, then based on your background, if your background gave you gold, then you would have that much.
Okay. I'm sure it does. I
What's your
just
background?
have to figure that out. Haunted one.
Haunted one. You have 1 silver.
Okay, so I have no gold.
Okay. You could borrow gold from someone else if you'd like.
I'm broke. Does Ella have gold? Because I feel like
Ella does have some gold, yes.
okay.
Might not have 50 gold worth, 50 gold worth of.
Yeah.
No, I do not. I don't. I don't.
Okay.
Any of us will have 50 gold.
Okay.
Maybe combined.
Yeah.
In relation to gaining gold, that is, you can also do the work downtime action, which is a way to get gold. Basically, it's a way to get wages
Okay.
by just doing chores around, temporary work, chores, things like that around the city. That we don't have to go into detail, but will pay you some amount.
She'll do that to try anything she doesn't have to deal
Okay.
personally with like people. But yeah, she will try that to make some money.
So you can do both of these things. If you work on making money, you won't have the time to spend it on resources for the tapping in roll. So we'll go ahead and do the work first, and then we'll resolve the tapping in later. You
Okay.
can choose to make a athletics check, an acrobatics check, an intelligence check using a set of tools you're proficient with, a performance check, or a musical instrument check with your charisma. One of those checks to see how well you do for the week.
I would like to go for intelligence.
Intelligence using do you have a set of tools that you're proficient with?
I do. I just can't remember what they are. Hold on. I had them for whatever I was before the 5-year jump.
You did not put them on your character sheet.
Did I not?
It doesn't look like.
Okay.
What was the auxiliary level that you took?
You had hustle, which meant you were a courier, I think.
Courier, yes. Thank you.
Cartographer's tools, navigator's tools, one musical instrument of your choice.
Yeah, no, they're right here. They're under items.
Why did you put the names in the quantity
Because
section?
I wasn't thinking. This was my problem. I'm sorry. I put them in incorrectly.
You put the name.
Yes, I see the problem.
There's a small entry field, and then there's the big entry field, and you put the name in the small entry field.
Can I use some of those tools to assist me with the roll?
Yeah. Which one do you want to use? Do you want to use a musical instrument and your charisma, or do you want to use cartographers or navigators tools?
She hasn't done this in a while. We'll do the musical instrument and charisma.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to put the tools on your character sheet in a way that's usable.
Everyone's being so mean to me tonight about my character sheet.
I'm just stating facts.
Mm-hmm.
What musical instrument are you proficient with?
Violin.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and make that violin roll. You should see it around your tool proficiencies. Above where you've got
Gotcha.
3 different
Yeah,
language
I
entries.
gotcha.
Not 1. That's a complication. Roll me a d6.
I'm not doing great tonight. In any regard. Six.
You gain a reputation for laziness, unjustified or not, as you choose, giving you disadvantage on checks made for this downtime activity for the next 6 work weeks that you devote to it. So the next 6 weeks of work that you choose to do at any given time, you'll have disadvantage on. For now, you just earn the poor lifestyle for a week, which is going to be 2 silver per day. So 14 silver. You earn 14 silver.
Right.
And we'll get to your recollection check later. Tenebris, what are you doing?
Helps with the ship. Helps Nashka with primordial. And then any other time, probably meditating on the tentacle thing.
Okay. So we'll have you do the same thing that Davina's going to be doing. I'm assuming you don't have 50 gold to spend on modifying the roll that you're going to make.
No.
Okay. Shawnee, you are training. All right. So training in a language or tool typically
You take 10 work weeks.
typically takes 10 work weeks, but that is reduced by a number of work weeks equal to your intelligence modifier. What's your intelligence modifier?
+3.
So it'll take 7 work weeks for you to learn primordial. So you spend 1 week learning primordial.
Sounds good to me.
So mark that down as 1 out of 7, just on some tracker that you can keep track of. That's how much education you have taken towards primordial. Jeremy.
Ella is in the week's time probably not seen much by the group. And just for in terms of downtime activities, those I think probably she need money for any of the things that and a number of the things that she's going to do. So instead, we're just going to risk money, and we're going to do gambling.
All right, gambling. I'm in.
I love that the notes section lets you make your own categories of notes.
And you also use the categories that are already there too. But yeah,
I can just I put a category in that says work notes so that I can put in notes of all of my crafting projects and my language learning stuff.
Yep. All right. So so gambling requires 1 work week of effort plus a stake of at least 10 gold to a maximum of 1,000 gold.
I am putting 30 in.
All right. So I need you to make a insight check, a deception check,
charisma,
and
deception check, and intimidation.
Yep. If you have proficiency with an appropriate gaming set, you can use that to replace the relevant skill.
Don't think I can convince anybody to gamble over dragon chess.
I mean, you could theoretically.
Although, frankly, that's I am not proficient in
Dragon chess is a gaming tool, so you can use it.
Sure, I will do that. That's true. I will, and you can substitute it for 1, correct?
You can substitute it for any
in any of the checks.
Yeah, so you could do for it have to be relevant. So for chess, I would say it'd probably be insight and deception.
Yeah, the problem there being insight is
wisdom.
Well, not just wisdom. Insight is
Is your
the
good
one that that I have expertise in.
Okay.
Are you expertise in deception?
Actually, be worse.
Are you
No,
expertise-
I'm not proficient in deception or
You can do it for deception then.
or intimidation.
Yeah, so you can do regular insight, then use the dragon chest for the deception. But the intimidation, there's no way to play chess intimidatingly enough for it to substitute for an intimidation check.
I mean, you play a different sort of chess than I'm kidding. That said, watch some of those motherfuckers who are like pro chess players and tell me that they are not using expertise and intimidation. But yeah, I will. So insight is
Natural 20.
nice.
Very good.
Needed that. Deception,
Will be dragon chess with your charisma.
which I just put proficiency on deception. So for
20.
this roll,
Hey.
20, good. And then intimidation. Here's where I like net 1.
19. You
Nope.
actually did pretty fucking good on all of those.
All right.
Which makes sense because I feel like this is a lot of the stuff that she did when she was like operative, was like dealing with people, nobles in cities and shit like that.
So, with gambling, you roll. I roll a random DC for each check.
Yep.
And we compare the values to what you got. The DC for the
Correct.
first check was 8. You blew it out of the water.
Okay.
The DC for the second check was 15. You did better than that. The DC for the third check was 18, which means you passed all 3.
Nice.
Which means that you get double the amount you bet. So you come back with so you get double the amount you bet. So that means you get your 30 back plus another 60.
Cool. I almost have 100 gold. 97. I didn't bet everything, but I bet close.
And go ahead and roll me a D100. Because gambling complications have a 10% chance every week you gamble.
62.
All right, you're good.
I was waiting for you to say, and it's between 60 or 70. That is your.
All right. Davina and Tenebris. So I need both of you to make me just a flat intelligence check. Not a skill, just intelligence. Without advantage, but that was your first one, so we'll take it. Natural 20 and a 12. Okay. So, Trevian, you are trying to. What are you trying to do specifically with yours?
Connect with the entity.
Okay.
Maybe learn a name.
So you spend some time trying to figure out what this connection that you have is. Whatever the connection is, it doesn't seem to be a direct connection. You learn that it's not. It doesn't. This is not a direct connection. You're not able to like talk to them in your mind or anything like that. As you sort of do some internal reflection and think about your limited knowledge of magic that you've been taught, you imagine that it is some sort of, for lack of a better term, tag. This is what you have seems to be some way that this entity has to monitor you and possibly reach out to you, but it doesn't work the other way. And you don't learn a name, but you do get the sense from your from your sort of self-assessment that the dream that you had was it trying to reach out to you? Was it reaching out to you for some reason? You're not sure what the reason was. And with the natural 20, I'll say that in addition to that, based on the imagery that you received, it's either inhabiting or infesting or occupying or in control of in some way the city that Grouper seems to be looking for. Davina, the 12, you have to push through the memories that you do have, which are largely all revolving around the experiments that were being done to you.
Mm-hmm.
But with a 12, you recall when you escaped that you were on a coastline and that there was a settlement within sight. Not close, but you could see a settlement nearby wherever it was that you escaped from. And you chose to not go to it. You chose instead to just take off for the nearest coastline.
Mm-hmm.
You recall that there was a number of others with you when you escaped. And all of you scattered in different directions. Nobody went in the same direction as anybody else. And that was coordinated. Somebody coordinated that. It wasn't you. There's a name that you have. Hawk. Hawk coordinated that you all should run in different directions.
Do I know anything about this person at all,
You know that
other than their
you
name?
know that they were one of the people that escaped with you.
So they're one of the people who
They're one of the
was
escapees.
also being
Yeah,
experimented? Okay.
correct. You have a sense of authority, not authoritarian, but like a sense of the Hawk seemed to emanate a sense of the kind of person that you sort of just instinctively understand will take charge of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you've got. You got the name, that sense, and that they're the person that sort of coordinated the escape, and then the little bit of detail about the escape. That's all you're really able to get right now.
Okay.
So yeah, these are largely what you all spend your week doing while the ship is being modified. We will obviously bookmark for the Good Goblins and Grouper for them to decide what they were doing during this week. But the end of the week, comes. The ship is ready to sail. It looks like a weird ship, and you're pretty confident that no one would buy it if they saw the inside. But from the outside, it looks fine. You're given the community has gathered together and provided you with a month's supplies of rations for the ship. So in the cargo of the ship, you can put that you got 1 month supplies for rations. That's going to take up. Hang on 1 second. Uh,
did.
Sorry, I was looking at.
No, you're good.
No,
For a
I
second
thought
there,
you
I was.
froze too.
Okay, good. I'm not the only person that thought that.
He's
I
trying.
hurt
He's trying to figure out how much that weighs.
Yeah, I'm trying to
No,
figure
yes,
out-
for sure.
yeah.
You were just remarkably still
I
as you
hurt
were
myself
doing it.
trying to concentrate
My
on your
apologies.
facial
Okay.
movement.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
It doesn't look like rations take up any level of cargo space, so you don't have to worry about calculating cargo tonnage for the rations.
So I have put a table in the party notes with the heading ship's cargo because we might be getting cargo at some point, and it's just got 3 columns for name, how much of the thing, and how much cargo tonnage it takes.
So yeah, you got 1 month's worth of rations. They will also provide you with some amount of ammunition that you can use. Understanding that it seems to just take whatever, they are going to consolidate on the cheapest thing. So you are going to get. I need to know how much those costs. How much those cost. As I fail to use words correctly. Okay. Yeah, so you are going to have. It's 10, 30 rounds of ammunition. Loaded into your car, loaded into your wherever you want them put. They're just cannonballs.
Okay.
But they understand that basically, but from what you've described and what they've learned, all the guns on your ship will take the cannonballs and convert them into whatever ammo it uses. So they just would decide to go simple and just provide you with cannonballs.
All right.
Because those are easier to
How
store.
much tonnage does that take?
Not a relevant amount of tonnage.
Okay, so MA for tonnage.
And yeah, so you got a month's worth. You got a month's worth of rations and 30 cannonballs. Is there anything else that you need before setting sail, or are you just waiting to set sail at a particular time?
I think
The sooner we can get out, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
I think once the ship is ready and everything is loaded, then I think we're good to set sail.
How long will it take us?
2 weeks.
2 weeks to get there. So, assuming it takes us a week to get set, we had spent about 3 days before we started getting the ship ready. We will have spent just over 3 weeks of our 6-week timetable by the time we get to Stillben, so we'll have just under 3 weeks left before our meeting.
Time enough to establish yourselves, or just wait. All right. So, over the course of the next 2 weeks, as you are sailing to Stillben, we'll say that the good goblins are taking the wheel because the Martin Victoria can just keep piloting for through the night. There you have a limited selection of downtime activities that you can do over the next 2 weeks. Obviously, you can't carouse or gamble unless you convince each other to gamble with each other. And also, more specifically, there are specific actions you can take while sailing, while traveling at sea. Activities you can do while traveling. You can forage. You can, once you've assigned roles, the first mate can raise morale, the quartermaster can navigate. You can notice threats. The bosun can repair, and the captain can stealth. Basically, work on piloting stealthily. Otherwise, you have the standard list of downtime actions that make sense for being on a ship where you're not in a town, so you're not buying magic items or selling magic items, things like that. But if you want to do some training, do some training, work on projects, things like that.
Do we have roles assigned to us on the ship?
Not yet. The types of officers that most ships require to run are a captain, a first mate, a bosun, a quartermaster, surgeon, and a cook. And then just general crew members for any other tasks.
Najka can technically accomplish most of those, except for captain because she's not a spellcaster and thus cannot steer the ship.
A good bosun has a high strength score as well as proficiency with carpenter's tools and the athletic skills. A good first mate has a high charisma score as well as proficiency in intimidation and persuasion. A good captain has high intelligence and charisma scores, and in this case, the ability to cast spells, as well as proficiency with water vehicles and the intimidation and persuasion skills. Fortunately, you don't need proficiency with vehicles when you're using a Spelljammer helm because it provides the proficiency by attuning to it.
So I don't think vehicle proficiency is a thing anymore in the 2024 rules.
These are not 20. This is from Ghost of Salt
Yeah,
Marsh.
this is from
which
Ghost of Saltmarsh, but yeah, the providing the proficiency I don't
Yeah.
think is a thing that happened.
Quartermaster tends to have a high wisdom and proficiency with navigator's tools and nature. Surgeon tends to have a high intelligence score and proficiency with herbalism and medicine. And cook tends to have a high constitution and proficiency with brewer's supplies and cook's utensils.
I have all of those tool proficiencies and a pretty good strength, con, and int, so I can fulfill most of those roles as needed. If anyone else wants to fill in a specific one.
And we don't have to fill in these roles now. This can be a conversation that we have in Slack over the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to completely fill these with us
Absolutely fine.
missing people right now.
Absolutely fine. So we will not worry about those actions at the moment that are officer specific. Shawnee, what is Najka doing over the 2 weeks?
Well, first off, hey, Tenebris,
But
do you want actual armor?
I am uncertain. I
'Cause
like I like the freedom of moving around, but also getting hit would also suck.
Yeah, because I can make you something. I can make you something light that won't bother you that much.
It's probably not a bad idea.
Which craft did you take?
Me?
No, Tenebris.
Oh, Tenebris.
Green.
Okay.
Let me check. What armors are you proficient with?
Light.
Light?
Yeah, pretty sure it's just light. Yeah.
I could make you some studded leather. I've got the materials.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
So, one day, I can make. Technically, I can make. I'm going to make him a masterwork set of studded leather.
What's your daily craft?
75, and it
So-
takes me 22 and a half to just make the armor. So I can make it and masterwork it in one day.
Yep. Yeah, masterwork studded leather armor just gives you +1 to your AC, so it's Oh wait, no, masterwork doesn't give +1 to AC. Exotic.
Masterwork doesn't give a +1, so but it lets me put properties on it.
So you work on that. You can come up with you can get the details out of that later. Is there anything else you're doing other than that?
And then I'm going to put more masterworks on things.
Okay. Are you going to continue studying language?
Yes, I'm also going to continue studying Primordial
Okay. So
as my downtime.
so 2 more weeks of primordial study you can add to your list.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
I think I don't know that there's anything downtime mechanically, which I am fine with. I think that Ella is keeping to her cabin
Okay.
for pretty much the whole time, unless specifically,
Interacted with.
yes.
We'll say that they weren't able to like fully kit out custom cabins for everybody. You all have basic amenities in your cabins: a bed, nightstand, standing
That's all
closet.
she needs.
Um, so any additional furniture that you might want aside from those three things, you'll have to pick up on your own elsewhere.
Okay. Questions for Tenebris. How good is your dex?
+3.
Okay, so scaled is not going to be important to you. Can you use shields?
No. I don't think witches have shield proficiency.
If I would have listed that with armor, and
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Yeah, no. They just have light armor, no shields.
All right. Then I will be providing you with armor that has the comfortable, environmental, and integrated properties. Which means that you can sleep in this armor with no ill effects. It's very comfortable to wear. It's not. You can sleep in it without any problems.
Integrated requires that it be exotic armor.
It doesn't have to be exotic. Never mind. Then really there's only two that are relevant. Then I mean I can make it quick change just for the giggles.
Comfortable, quick change, and what was the other one?
Comfortable, quick change, and environmental.
Environmental.
Oh, my phone disconnected for some reason.
So comfortable, you can sleep in the armor with no ill effect. Quick change, you can take it on or off as simply an action rather than the amount of time it normally takes. And environmental, you can tolerate temperatures as cold as negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit or as warm as 300 degrees Fahrenheit with no ill effects.
Cool.
Which will be very useful if you want to dive into the cold, freezing depths of the ocean.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with non-exotic armor. I discovered. Most
I mean,
non-exotic
not at
those.
apprentice, I should say. At the higher levels, you can do more.
There we go. All right. So Elefira is mostly hanging out in her cabin, not doing much else. Davina, Holly, what are you doing?
A couple of things on Davina and the ship. Davina cannot be in a cabin on her own. She'll freak out.
Okay.
So either she has to share with someone or she's sleeping not in a cabin.
Is there someone in particular?
She can absolutely. If she asked, Ella would be fine with that.
Okay, because you probably ask either Ella or Grouper. I don't know Grouper's sleeping situation with the whole water thing.
I believe Grouper is sleeping in a bathtub.
But if Ella's okay with that.
Yep.
Also, at some point, she'd like to have a conversation with Ella. And beyond that, I don't know if I can, but attempt maybe what I did before.
Yeah.
And
You
try
do
to
that
pull
once-
anything.
You do that once a
Yeah.
week.
Okay,
During
then
downtime.
yeah, try to do that. Try to pull.
So start with the conversation. Well, actually, before that, Trevian, is everything Tenebris? What's Tenebris doing over the next 2 weeks?
Looking over the ship, trying to piece together like how it's put together and like the engineering and that,
Okay.
so that he might have a better idea of how to fix it.
Okay, so that we'll make that another research roll then.
Okay.
We'll start with that. That way the conversation can just go. Actually, yeah, that'll be quick. So just go ahead and make a flat intelligence check. Okay, I will tell you what you learn later. Holly and Jeremy, go ahead.
Yep. She will just be in the room, probably reading something. Actually,
Davina,
probably making notes on stuff.
without saying anything, we'll just sit next to her and stare at her.
Hey, what's up?
She'll point to head first
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
do
She
mental
nods.
link between the two of them. I was just wondering about this rook that you've mentioned before.
Right.
I'm sorry, I have multiple questions and they just flew out of my head. Sorry. Give me a
It's
second.
okay.
Right, okay. Does Rook know that I'm with you?
Believe.
Did you send that in
Send
the message?
correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I passed along that information.
You did not. No, you asked for You asked for whether or not you could clarify who you worked for, and I think that's all that you did. You passed on information about the. You passed on information about the.
Well, okay,
torchbearers
yes, absolutely.
To the
That
to the
said,
Cobalt Soul. Yeah.
that said, they knew I was coming back. They knew who you. They knew They knew who I grew up with.
So you'd mentioned me before to Rook?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yes,
Okay.
I have not specifically sent anything that says, "Hey, I'm with Davina. I'm with everybody," but they're smart.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, they know. Um,
And part of this is just me forgetting. We're meeting with them, right?
right.
Okay.
That at least that was the implication. I don't remember if it was explicitly said.
Your instructions were to gather a group you trust and
Right.
be in Stillben in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That typically means that
That
they'll be meeting
yeah,
with you.
yeah. I would put exceptionally good odds that they will be there.
And when was the last time you physically saw Rook?
Right before I came back. No, they didn't say anything about it. About you. And I would honestly, that doesn't surprise me.
So Davina's trying to process this in her head. Would that be before or after Rook freed her?
Heading back would be before Rook freed you.
Okay.
Okay.
Rook would have freed you while Elefira was making her way to the island.
Okay. So that would have happened before.
That makes sense.
Or
That's
after you while you were leaving,
right. That makes sense. They knew I was coming back here. They were off investigating. They went off to investigate something involving the torchbearers. That's pretty much all I know.
but it was involving the torchbearers then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that Like, I know I don't know for sure on the torchbearers, but I'm pretty sure at this point, putting two and two together, that they're the ones that did this to me, as she
I
motions.
mean, it's pretty simple math. It's like there's too many pieces coming to one. Like if I had my conspiracy board up, I don't have a conspiracy board that you know of, but if I had one up, all of the little bits of string would be going to the torchbearers at this point. There's a point where coincidence is no longer coincidence.
Okay. Thanks.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I'm just trying to piece together a timeline.
Right.
Everything. Maybe we do need a board. I'm definitely trying to piece together a timeline of everything that I don't remember, of everything that occurred over that time to get me to the island. So, okay.
I mean, hold on just a second, and she gets up and she's going to the cabin, and then or the main cabin, and then down below she's looking for string. Oh wait, no, I probably have some. I'm a rogue.
Yeah. You definitely
Yeah,
have some.
She goes to her pack. Yeah, she goes to her pack, pulls out the string, pulls out several sheets of paper. We have a wall. We have a board.
Are you okay if we do this?
Fuck yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Let's start putting the pieces of what you know together. Can add what I know.
Yes.
And we can get this shit fixed. Well, we can end up with a very big board and hopefully get this shit figured out.
Thank you.
Yeah. Of course.
And then
well, now we have something to do for the next 2 weeks.
I was gonna say, yeah, we do that. Physically, I want to start making a timeline though for that to try to figure out. I'll probably post in Slack.
Sure.
Try to piece that together.
Neither of us leave the cabin for the next 2 weeks.
We come back next week, and Holly just has like an actual board behind her.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You have a wall. You don't need a board.
I have joked about doing that for our Sunday campaign on about stuff that's going on with my character and a certain character. So I'm gonna have multiple.
All right. Well, as that conversation ends, we will get to what Tenebris is learning about the ship and what is happening with the other members of the crew next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.